Okay, today we're doing spare ribs. Gonna season with little sweet preacher, little killer hogs to rub, and a touch of sweet pepper. Yes, I know it's for chicken, but it tastes really good on pork. I'm gonna season them up and get them on the grill. Let's do a light dusting of each one. Then come in with the killer hogs to rub and really coat it. Forgot to mention that I used a little bit of French's yellow mustard as a binder. We're going to do the 3-2-1 cook method on my Pitboss 1000 smoker, and we'll see how they turn out. Okay, so I've got my Pitboss 1000. Haven't started it up yet. Probably need to put some pellets in the hopper, and I do. We're gonna get it started, get it ready to put some ribs on it. You'll have to excuse the inside of it, it's a little dirty. I cooked on it last night. So we're gonna turn her on. We're gonna turn her on the smoke. And we're just gonna let her get started. And I'm gonna pause the video and let it do its thing, and when she's getting ready to do what she needs to do, I'll come back. While we're letting the pellet smoker heat up, this is what I started with. That's my old barrel smoker over there, my ugly drum smoker. Cooked on this for a few years. As you can see, my old one's a little rusty, and so's this one, but I cook on them 3-4 times a week. Cooked everything from brisket to Boston butts, ribs, a little bit of everything. It's got the Weber dome lid on it, and yes, it's dirty because I haven't cleaned it since the last time I used it. My charcoal pot down in the bottom. Still love the flavor from the ugly drum smoker. Pellet grill doesn't have quite the smoke that this one does, but I've got a solution for that, and I'll show you that when we come back. Okay, so pellet smoker is rolling. She's starting up, starting to see a little smoke. I'm using the Pitboss hardwood mix in the hopper, and like I said, I need to add some, so I have to come back to the video. But as you can see, it's putting off a little bit of smoke, getting started. You can hear the fan running. I actually just got this pellet smoker yesterday. I had a even embers smoker before, loved it. Great little beginner smoker. My controller went out on me, and because the one I had was a discontinued model, I ended up taking it back and got it from Tractor Supply. Tractor Supply was great about it. They gave me my money back and gave me the money towards this one. Like I said, this is the Pitboss 1000 D3. This is actually my second cook on it. Cooked on it last night. Cooked jalapeno poppers and steaks. I actually did some cheese fries too, because my wife likes the smoke flavor from cheese fries. As I mentioned before, the pellet smokers, pellet grills don't give you as much smoke as what I like that smoky flavor, so I use a smoke tube. This one happens to be adjustable. I think it's the Oklahoma Joe's from Lowe's. Also have this one from Amazon, and as you can see, they've been used. I use them on my even embers. Like I said, I cook on my smoker more than I cook in the house. I cook probably 3-4 times a week. We'll go back to the pellet grill here, a pellet smoker. You can see the smoke starting to dissipate a little bit, and if you look down in there, you can see the flames going good. I'm gonna close the lid and see what we're up to as far as temp. It's on the smoke setting right now. The internal probe saying it's 90 degrees. Temp's climbing a little bit. We'll see where it gets to. Again, you'll have to forgive the traffic noise because I live right up on the road, even though I'm out in the country. So we'll let the grill get started up. Top thermometer saying it's a little bit above 150 and climbing. Internal probe saying 140. I found last night that they're about 10 or 15 degrees off, variable. Not a big deal. I also used the ThermoPro TP25 with the ambient temperature setting when I'm cooking bigger pieces of meat. I was going to do a brisket today. Couldn't find one that I wanted to cook. I didn't want to do a great big one because I'm starting kind of late. It's let's see, it's 1:35 right now. So yeah, we'll see where it goes from here. Well, like I was saying before, I use the Pitboss all natural barbecue hardwood pellets. I use Bear Mountain in my even embers. Both of them are great. Not sponsored by either one. I love Bear Mountain. I'm not using Pitboss because that's the type of smoker I'm using. I'm using this because this is what was on sale at Walmart when I went. I've also used the Royal Oak charcoal. You know, whatever flavor pellets you use. I like to use mesquite and cherry mix when I do my briskets. Give it a little smoke. Also put those in the smoke tube. Today you'll see when I do my ribs, I'm going to actually use a Pitboss applewood in my smoke tube just to give it a little bit more flavor, because my wife, the boss, the true Pitboss, really likes the taste of applewood. So we're going to fill the hopper real quick, and I don't have a cameraman. I'm having to do all this by myself today. So I'm going to stop the video, get the hopper filled, get everything ready to go to put the ribs on. As I was saying before we left off, the top thermometer is reading around 250. The internal probe is reading about 245, and as you can see, I'm still on the smoke setting. And if you're looking at our smokestack, really not a lot of smoke coming off, so that's why I use the smoke tube. I wish there was another way to get, you know, more smoke flavor. You do get the flavor of the hardwood, but you know, not as much as I like. I do like this feature on the Pitboss. I'm gonna open this back up. You can do direct sear on this grill, and again, I apologize, my grill is nasty. I cooked on it last night and have not cleaned it. So if you look down there, you can see the fire, and if I push this little lever in towards the grill, you'll see it closes. So your heat is more evenly distributed. As anytime you're cooking on a grill, you're always going to have hot spots. I don't care if it's charcoal, if it's gas, if it's wood fired, if it's pellet grill. whatever the case may be, there's always going to be one spot that's hotter than the other. The only thing I can tell you about learning hot spots is, there's videos. You take a can of biscuits and put them in different spots on the grill, and you'll see which ones get browner than the others. I don't want to waste a can of biscuits, so I learn by trial and error. I've cooked on several different types of grills. As I showed you before, I started with the ugly drum smoker and charcoal. I got introduced to smoking by a very good friend of mine. Love smoked food. I know what's going into the food. I know what flavors I'm going to have. I'm also a diabetic, so I can use sugar-free sauces. I can control the amount of sugar that I'm intaking, and help control my diet that way. I do eat a lot of meat. Doctors fuss at me about that, but you know what? When you can't eat a whole lot of different foods, you have to eat what you can, and I eat a lot of lean meat. I trim a lot of fat off my briskets. Today you're going to see I did not trim my spare ribs. A little bit of fat in your diet is not bad. It helps keep everything greased up and moving. But again, we're going to fill up my hopper here, 30-pound hopper, so it holds a lot of pellets. I've actually probably got enough for this cook, but as I said, we're going to do the 3-2-1, the 6-hour method, 3 hours on the smoker, 2 hours wrapped, and then we're going to bring them back out for an hour, and probably won't need quite an hour unwrapped with sauce. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll be back. Okay, so I set my tripod up so I can do something with two hands. What we're going to do right now is I'm going to show you how I do my smoke tube. As I told you before, I use applewood. This is the Oklahoma Goes expandable smoke tube, applewood pellets inside of it. And as you can see, I don't really fill it all the way up. I give it a little room. I try to get it where the pellets won't fall out. And then I set it back here on my smoker, away from the internal probe. I don't have my torch with me right now, but I'll bring it out in a second. All I do is get my pellets started where they're burning on their own. I'll blow them out, and we're going to get our ribs and get them on the grill. We'll do that in just a second. Alright, so as promised, show you how I do my smoke tube. Turn my flame way down. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. Barely burning. All I do is I stick it in here. You'll see them start to burn a little bit. You'll see some smoke coming off of them. I keep my pellets inside so they're very dry. For these things to get going, but again, my wife likes that applewood smoke flavor, so we got to get it on there. Alright, looks like they're going. You can see that flame a little bit better. Actually, a little bit higher than what I like. I like it about like that, where it dances a little bit. We're going to cut it off, let our pellets burn for a little bit. I'm going to close this back down just so my grill grates stay hot. Again, I'm still on the smoke setting. Probably going to bump it up to about 250. Like I said, we're going to let the ribs go for 3 hours. I'll show you how I test them. I don't really go on time. I don't really go on temperature. When I do my ribs, when I can take my finger and I cook bone side down, I can take my finger and touch the ribs, and that crust doesn't crack, it doesn't move, that's when I take them off and wrap them. And when I wrap them today, I'm not gonna show you when I wrap, show you the ribs when I wrap them, but all I do is I put a little bit of squeezed butter, just a very, 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 very little bit of brown sugar. Like I said, I'm diabetic, so I control how much sugar goes in there. I'm also going to use sugar-free barbecue sauce today when we do sauce them, and I'll show you which one I use. But like I said, I'm going to bump the knob up and bump the controller up to 250, let it come up to heat, and we're going to get the ribs and get them on the grill, and I'll show you when I get back. Okay, and we're back, and as promised, we're going to put the ribs on. As you can see, I've got spare ribs, didn't trim them, didn't cut them. I like a little bit of okay, so as promised, we're back. We've got the spare ribs. As you can see, I didn't trim them, I didn't square them off, I didn't make them very damn nice. Competition cooking, I'm cooking for me and the family. As you can see, very liberally seasoned ribs. And we're gonna throw them on the smoker now. As you can see, I've got a little bit of smoke coming out of my smoke tube. And we're gonna put these bad boys up here. If you'll excuse me, I'm gonna have to turn my back to you for a minute to get these ribs up here. We're gonna get them up here on the smoker and go from there. And again, I'm putting these ribs side down. Liberally seasoned. We're gonna put everything up there. I'm gonna try to get these gloves off without getting stuff all over my hands, which that didn't work too well. But I don't like to handle my grill handle with nasty gloves. We're gonna close that. I ended up bumping the grill up to 300. It's February the 19th, so it's a little cool out here today. I bumped it up, kind of keep my grill temp up. As I was saying earlier, I used the ThermoPro TP25 with the ambient probe. Right now it's showing 267. Did just have the lid up for a little bit, but it'll come back up to temp. It's now 206. I've been kind of procrastinating, getting everything done, trying to make the video, so we'll see how it goes, and you take this little journey with me, and I'll show you what our end result is. I'm gonna take these in and get these washed up so Mama doesn't have to deal with them in the sink, and I'll be back. Alright, so it's 4:25, or a little over 2 hours into the cook. Grill still set on 300, as you can see on the temperature gauge. Digital probe on the inside of the grill is reading 305. As you can see, move the camera a little bit, we're developing a decent bark. And as I was telling you before, when I can put my finger up here and I'm not breaking the bark, normally I'll wrap them. Still got a little moisture on that one. Still got some wet spots on that one. You can see some of it's coming off on my finger. I'm gonna give them a little while longer, probably another 45 minutes, and we'll be back. Alright, so we're back. We are 3 hours in. Looks like we got a nice crust, nice bark going on. I'm gonna take these off the grill. We're gonna go wrap them in some aluminum foil. I'll be back. Okay, so I decided that I am going to show you what I do when I wrap my ribs. Yes, like I said before, I'm diabetic, but I can kind of control what I put in my body. So, here we go. Alright, make you a nice bed of brown sugar. And I use squeezed butter. I cheat a little bit. You can use little tabs of butter, whatever. All up to you. Now, when you put your ribs on this, you're going to lose some of your bark. And that's okay, because you'll get it back when you unwrap them and put them back on the grill. As I said, rib side down to cook to start with. We're going to wrap these up. You want the shiny side of the foil facing inward, so all the heat is directed towards your ribs. And I'll wrap them up as tight as we can get them. And then we're going to go back on the grill, rib side up. And notice I didn't put any thing on the bone side of the ribs. I just, all the flavors on the other side, all your meat's on the other side, so I don't do it. Okay, so we're back. We're gonna get our ribs back on the grill. Again, we're going bone side up this time. I've turned the temperature of the grill down a little bit. Turn it back down to 250. I don't want to burn the sugar that's on the bottom. We're going to put these on for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Normally everybody calls these 3-2-1 ribs. Depends on how hot your grill is, how hot your day is. Yeah, there's a lot of variables, but as a general rule, you go 3 hours on the grill, 2 hours wrapped, 1 hour unwrapped. Get your crust back and brush them with sauce. It can take as little as 30 minutes. Again, it all depends on your grill, how hot you got it. So right now it's 5:26. We'll come back in a couple of hours, maybe an hour and a half. At this point, I will probe check with my thermal pin just to see where we're at as far as temperature. If we're at a good temp, I'll take them out, I'll unwrap them, put them back on the grill, let the crust form back, and then we'll brush on the sauce, and I'll show you the sauce when we come back. Alright, so as you can tell, it's gotten dark on me, and I'm going to unwrap these ribs. I checked them, they're 2 temp on probe. So I'm going to take them off. Instead of taking them in the house and unwrapping them right here. It'll be a little bit messy, but it is what it is. Now these things should be just about falling apart. I know all the competition guys say, oh, if your ribs are falling off the bone, you know, they're not right, blah, blah, blah. To each his own. I want my ribs tender. And as you can see, those are falling off the pieces. So, they're definitely cooked. I'm going to put them back up here, let them get their little bit of crust back. I don't know how well you can see with the light, but all of that brown sugar and stuff is melted in the butter, and it's made a nice little juice up here. So, alright, here's what we got right here. Get this mess out of the way. See if I can get you in a little bit better. As you can see, this one looks like it's a little burnt. I got a hot spot on my grill. If it's not burnt, I can guarantee you that's just the crust. This one right here looks perfect. I'm gonna let that little bit of liquid dry. Once that little bit of liquid dries, we're going to glaze them, and I'll show you the glaze, or show you the barbecue sauce that I'm gonna put on them, and we'll be back. Okay, so as promised, these are the sauces that I'm gonna use. G. Hughes sugar-free, sweet and spicy. Not sponsored by them. I'd love to be. And G. Hughes sugar-free honey. I don't know, got a bad glare from a light, but this is what we're going to use. I'm going to use the honey on Mama's ribs, and I'm going to use the sweet and spicy on my ribs. So basically all I do, move my camera here, is I just open up my sauce, dump it on, and just kind of brush it across the meat. Just kind of coat everything real good, as much as possible. Put some more up here because she likes a lot of sauce, but basically I'm trying to get a nice even layer of sauce across. And again, I know the barbecue purist and all of the competition guys say, oh, your ribs shouldn't be that soft, they shouldn't be falling off the bone. Well, I'm not in competition. The only award I'm trying to win is feeding my family. So, you know, if you're looking for competition ribs with the bite, you know, these definitely aren't the ones. But again, you do what suits you. Now again, the little darker set of ribs, I'm gonna do the sweet and spicy, same thing. Again, we're just gonna brush it in, brush it on, let it get up here, make a nice little glaze on it, and that's gonna be it. We'll set this over to the side, close this down, and let that sit, and we'll take them off, and I'll come back and show you what we got. Alright, so my ribs have been on, or the sauce has been on the ribs about 30 minutes, give or take. Grill set at 225. Thermometer up top says it's running about 225. And we're just going to do a real quick check, see what they look like. They're looking pretty good. I'm going to add a little light here. What I'm looking for is when I touch the sauce, I shouldn't be able to get sauce on my fingers. So I still need a little bit more time. I'm going to shut the lid back down and Give them a few more minutes and we'll come back when we're done. Alright, so we're back. I believe that we have got the coating we're looking for. We're going to get ready to take these up, and when I tell you these things fall apart, they are fall off the bone tender. As you can tell, they are coming all to pieces. I'm going to turn this around, try to get this off the grill. We're going to go inside and we're going to feed Mama. And again, these are very, very tender. These are a little bit more meatier than these. We'll see what we end up with. Alright, so we're back in the house. When I say fall off the bone tender, I mean you can reach in, pull these bones out, no problems whatsoever. Good tender meat, perfectly cooked to me, and that's the end of the cook. If you like it, please like, subscribe, and follow.